All right, this is another video, and this video is about the egg, the lotus, and the fool. Okay, so um, I'm putting in Akasha's spirit. They made her an actual character in the Queen of the Damned, but the Akasha spirit is something that's inside the head or inside the ear. So I'm going to get into that too also. So what I want to do is make it to where it's very understandable. It's a lot of different types of mythologies. That's why I say mythologies are very important to get some kind of understanding behind them. So when you do, you're able to um, have an understanding of what you need to become or what's the best in becoming the best version of yourself. All right, let's get right into it. So as we see, the fool. All right, let me get into the note. The note that the fool is derived from follis or folly, a windbag. Even etymology gives the attribution to air. Also, to puff out the cheeks is a gesture implying readiness to create in the sign language of Naples. Worse, some English guardians of democracy impute folly to others by the raspberry. You know, you give somebody a raspberry, yeah, the same thing. Now, if you watch the movie Queen of the Damned or you read the Anne Rice books, you have Lestat. In the medieval pack, the title of the card is Lamat. Remember, he actually was helping out Lestat. He was the musician, ended up becoming the singer for that group. So Lestat, adapted from the Italian motto, madman or fool. The propriety of this title will be considered later, but there is another, or one might say, a complementary theory. If one assumes that the tarot of the Egyptian origin, one may suppose that Mat, this card being the key card of the whole pack, really stands for Maut, the vulture goddess. Maut, the vulture goddess, who is an earlier and more sublime modification of the idea of Nuit than Isis. So the vulture goddess, if you ever seen the picture of the Stele of Revealing, 718, or the number at the bottom of the stele is 666. Maut you can see as Nuit on the stele of Revealing at the top. She is looked at as the darkness, uh, covering everything in the picture of the stele Revealing. So what they're really pretty much is saying, she watches over the fool because he's doing the great work. So let's keep it going. There are two legends connected with the vulture. It is supposed to have a spiral neck. This may possibly have reference to the theory recently revived by Einstein, but mentioned by Zoroaster in his oracles, that the shape of the universe, the form of that energy which is called the universe, is a spiral. So the universe is uh, from symbolically showing the vulture as in have the neck that is in a spiral. So if it's in a spiral, that means the world or the universe through the great mother, through the darkness. Remember, only light can only come from darkness. Just like a child can only come from the womb when it's in darkness, and once it's outside of the womb, it's in its light, manifested state of light. So remember when I was talking about how when you have the big cheeks or using the fool is derived from the windbag, okay, this, let me see, okay, the vulture was supposed to reproduce her species. We're talking about the Great Mother again. It is a symbology of the intervention of the wind. In other words, the element of air is considered the father of all manifested existence. So when you speak it in, like they say, speak it into existence, you're manifesting what's in your frame or your body to your mind, and then you manifesting it. So by you talking it and bringing it into existence. Or some people say, I don't show it, I don't talk it, I just show it. Same thing. But you bring it into existence or manifesting it. Okay? The foundation of the legend of the wandering prince. And note well, he is always the fool of the family. The connection between foolishness and holiness is traditional. It is no sneer that the family nitwit had better go into the church. In the East, the madman is believed to be possessed, a holy man, or a prophet. So deep is this identity that it is actually embedded in the language. Silly means empty, the vacuum of air. Here we go again with air. Zero, the silly buckets on the deck. And the word is from the German selig. Holy, blessed. It is the innocence of the fool which most strongly characterizes him. Okay, to ensure the succession, it was therefore devised firstly that the blood royal should really be the royal blood. Um, you'll have situations, even with King Arthur, his actual parents didn't even actually raise him in the mythology, because um, Merlin had some intertwining with that happen, making that happening. So he actually put him with another family in order for him to come up the way he was supposed to come up, and not even knowing of his lineage. So when he became of his lineage, uh, he became what he became, not because of someone put him in a situation. More of he was supposed to be that, but it just took its time for him to reach his puberty, in a word or a sense. Secondly, that this strain should be fortified by the introduction of the conquering stranger instead of being attenuated by the continual inbreeding of like the royal family. So he was taken out of the royal family, only to be brought in through another way. So if he was already a part of the royal family to begin with, the royal blood, just that he was not in their presence. In their presence, as in knowing of all his responsibilities, but he was always around, as in step, like they say, step your game up. He was damn near stepping his game up in order to get there. But I'm going to show you about how Akasha, um, the spirit of Akasha, intermingles with the soul or the fool. Okay, the green man of the spring festival. I'll give you an example of it. The fool stirs within us all at the return of spring, and because we are a little bewildered, a little embarrassed, it has been thought a salutary custom to externalize the subconscious impulse by ceremonial means. So, with that, I wanted to bring attention to Marvin Gaye and Nipsey Hussle. They died around. They physically left their physical body around the same time. Marvin Gaye, April 1st, the day before his birthday, he would have been 45 years old, and Nipsey Hussle, um, and on March the 30th, right before spring. So spring brings on people feeling like they are the as in a savior, but you are your own savior. No one can be your savior but yourself. You give energy outside yourself, and that's not doing anything but making what you gave energy to even more powerful. As in a god, or a god is actually taking energy, but you are dead to yourself. If you're dead to yourself, that means you're supposed to raise yourself up yourself. You will have the custom of the Easter egg, um, the poison d'Avril. The savior fish is discussed elsewhere in this essay. The precession of the equinoxes has made spring begin with the entry of the sun into Aries, the ram, or as in the Baphomet, instead of Pisces, the fishes, as was the case in the earliest times recorded. So Pisces, as a school of fish, it means you're all in a school together, but you're also following something, following someone or something. but the ram or the Baphomet takes on the left-handed path, the path of to know self through the dark side. So they say there's going to be a what was it? The Gnostics say they're going to be a everybody's going to follow one, but then there's going to be a few that it goes into self. If it go into self, I mean you are that that savior of thyself. So going through, like they say in the spring festival or the April Fool, that's what I have found out that in most cultures of past of earlier times, they would actually celebrate the new year as of spring because everything is still dead in the fall and in the winter time when the new year comes around in January 1st. But the new year really should be at the beginning of spring or the spring equinox. It's like a rebirth or a birth of self coming into an existence. It is vital to realize that the legend, like that of the fool, is purely pagan in origin and comes to us through Latin Christian recensions. There is no trace of any such matters in the Nordic mythologies. Percival and Galahad were innocent. This is a condition of the guardianship of the Grail. Note also that Montsalvat, mountain of salvation, home of the Grail, the fortress of the knights guardians, is in Pyrenees. It may be best to introduce the figure of Parsival in this place because he represents the Western form of the tradition of the Fool. Parsival in the first phase is Der Reine Thor, the pure Fool. Inside of the second phase, or in the second act, he was you have a magician by the name of Klingzor, the evil magician who thought to fulfill the conditions of life by self-mutilation. Seeing his empire threatened, hurls the sacred lance at Parzival, but it remains suspended over the boy's head. Parzival seizes it. The lance or the sword is looked at as so if he hurls the sacred lance, which he had stolen from the mountain of salvation at Parzival, but it remains suspended over the boy's head. Parzival seizes it, in other words, attains to puberty. This transformation will be seen in the other symbolic fables below. In the third act, Parzival's innocence has matured into sanctification. He is the initiated priest whose function is to create. So I want to get back to this part where it says the Klingzor he hurled a sacred lance at Parzival, but it remained suspended over the boy's head. So the lance they're talking about, the sword, is like very similar to the sword of Excalibur. Excalibur is just talking about the sacred energy or the Shakti power, that's sexual energy, or the Kundalini is just energy, period. So if it's over his head and it's not harming him, that means you can't harm him because he's in the innocent stage. So he's actually getting towards or getting close to what he needs to be a part of, which is his full on energy in order to what? To create. As it says, the initiated priest whose function is to create. So now, as we're gonna deal with the Akasha spirit, so they took the spirit and made it into an actual physical character in the movie Queen of the Damned. So she's gonna say that you've become my consort. I'm making you my consort. The spirit will be inside of as in Kraat or as in Parsival, because she's been with him this whole time when he first partook of her blood a while back. So let me show you. So you thought it was all you this whole time, keeping yourself alive. But Akasha spirit, or the energy, or some people would say the ancestors, are here around you to keep you alive, to do a main work, the great work. There's a number in the book of the law, 418 is revealed as the great work. 418, 4 plus 1 is 5, and plus 8 is 13. Like King Arthur in the Round Table, 12 plus 1 is 13. So you are your own savior. The dot in the middle is you. But you're going to have the ancestors or Akasha spirit pushing you along to get what you need to get done and accomplished. Okay, it is Good Friday, the day of darkness and death. Where shall he seek his salvation? Where is Mansolvat, the mountain of salvation? So when they say mountain or the rock, they're really talking about the pineal gland, or the stone that the builder rejects. So, and because he rejects it because he can't build anything with it physically. So Mansolvat, the mountain of salvation, which he has sought so long in vain. He worships the lance. Immediately the way so long closed to him, listen to what they're saying, closed to him, is open. The scenery revolves rapidly. There is no need for him to move. He has arrived at the temple of the Grail. And speaking of a woman, Amfortas, all true ceremonial religion must be solar and phallic, or the phallus, as in male, in character. It is the wound of Amfortas which has removed the virtue from the temple. Amfortas is the symbol of the dying god. Remember, the dark goddess was here first, because they always said, "Let there be light," because the light came later. Okay, that means you were always in the womb of the great woman, of the great goddess, the dark goddess, at all times. Accordingly, to redeem the whole situation, to destroy death, to reconsecrate the temple, he has only to plunge the lance into the Holy Grail. He redeems not only Kundry, but himself. This is a doctrine only appreciable in its fullness by members of the sovereign sanctuary of the gnosis, or knowing, of the ninth degree of the OTO. As they say, the holiest of holies is inside of the woman, the dark goddess, the great mother. The same doctrine of this is dealing with the crocodile as Mako, son of Set, or Sebek. The same doctrine of maximum innocence developing into maximum fertility is found in ancient Egypt in the symbolism of the crocodile god Sebek. The tradition is that the crocodile was unprovided with the means of perpetuating his species. Compare with compare what is said above to the vulture about the vulture Ma'ut. Not in spite of, but because of this, he was the symbol of the maximum of creative energy. So how we talked about how Parsival was able to plunge the lance inside. So let's get into this. Um, in Hebrew mythology, the hero concerned is Noah. Note also that the symbol of the fish has been chosen to represent the Redeemer, or phallus, the god through whose virtue man passes through the waters of death. The common name for this god in southern Italy today is and elsewhere is Il Pesci. So also his female counterpart, Catius, is represented by the vesica piscis. The vesica is the vagina or the yoni, or we say on the street, the pussy. The bladder of the fish, and this shape is continually exhibited in many church windows and in the episcopal ring. Okay, the note for the episcopal ring, which means fish. and very aptly symbolizes Christ or the Christos. You are your own Savior. You are your own Christos or your own Christ. In the mythology of Udican, it was the old ones covered with feathers that came up out of the sea. Some have seen in this tradition a reference to the fact that man is a marine animal. Our breathing apparatus still possesses astropheed gills on the side of our necks, but it's just not open for us to breathe through. So what they're saying is, in order for you to get to your higher levels or raise your soul up, you have to use your spirit in order to push through, in order to get to the Holy Grail, and the Grail is only through the Dark Goddess or the woman. Okay, now we're gonna deal with Hoopocrat. That's in Egyptian or Kemetic mythology. Hoopocrat is the god of silence, and this silence has a very special meaning. The pure being invented as an aspect of pure nothing. In his manifestation, he is not one but two. He is only one because he is zero, the nothing, to be nothing and everything at the same time. He exists, Ihai, his divine name, which signifies I am or I shall be, is merely another way of saying that he is not. That means becoming. Because one leads to nowhere, which is where it came from, the nothingness. Okay, he is a baby, a youth. That is to say, innocent and not yet arrived at puberty. A simpler form of Parsival, he is represented as a rose pink in color. The hint of light above, a hint of light about to come, but not by any means that light he had. Let me go back to this part right here. They're talking about the rose pink. It was red at the lowest chakra, and it rises up, which is what to bring to a hint of light, and it goes into purple. Purple is the highest chakra above the crown. So it's the same story as Parzival. So what they're saying is you're actually bringing information or light, as in Lucifer is the light bringer, as the lower self, and bringing it all the way up into what? The pineal gland or into Doth. Okay? So you can't go to the Father but you are your higher self. In order to do that, Akasha is the spirit in order to keep you going to get to where you need to be at. So let's keep going, so keep reading. So another thing I've been noticing, a lot of people that be having dreadlocks or locks these days have been cutting off the sides of their hair. You're actually cutting off your it's a symbolically is talking about Hippocrates or Heru. So let's get into a little bit more. It is dawn, the hint of light above, light about to come, but not by any means that light. He has a lock of hair, of black hair curling around his ear. You will see Hasidic Jews that wear all black. They'll have the same lock on the side of their ears too, also showing that they have something good going into their ears. That's just a representation of whatever going into your mind is good, as in to get you to a better position to raise yourself up. So So he has the black hair curling around his ear, and that is the influence of the highest descending upon the Brahma Randra chakra. That's in Hindu mythology. Um, the ear is the vehicle of Akasha. Akasha is sound, the Akasha spirit. So sound, by hearing music. Remember in the movie, uh, he played the violin for her, and when he played the violin for her, he was able to receive some energy from her, the sacred energy, the blood of Akasha. So when he was able to do that, she was able to give him more power, as in over just overall power, not just one part of a power, but he becomes a better or stronger version of himself. This is the only salient symbol Salient means most notable, most noticeable, or important symbol. It is the only indication that he is not merely the bald baby because it is the only color in the blob of rose pink. So another thing, rose pink, pink is the color of October, but October holds um, Libra. So in Libra, I come to find out two things. So Elijah Muhammad of the NOI, the Nation of Islam, he was born October the 7th. And also Aleister Crowley, he was born October the 12th. And those are two dates that are inside of Libra, the zodiac of Libra. And as balance, like you see the balancing of the scales, which is what Ma'at, to come with as in truth. I mean, bringing the truth to shoot from the lip and not the hip. And we're going to see something about the lip dealing with Hippocrates. Well, I'm going to give you a definition of Brahma Randra chakra before I do that. Having an end or limit of 12. You have 12 disciples, 12 Knights of the Round Table. You have 12 zodiacs, 12 months in a year. But in the center, that's where your savior is you, the pineal gland, the Hadit point, Hadit point, the 12th center, or Sakti in an individual as the energy of the person, identified by some with the pituitary gland. They're really talking about the pineal gland. There being 6 centers in the brain and 6 below the brain, which brings will, knowledge, and activity. Now we're going to go over the Muladhara chakra, which is the base chakra. When he says the red, which is just rose pink, it was red and is beginning to bring in light. Okay, so the light will turn the colors from red to different colors, right? Okay, so the root chakra is one of the 7 primary chakras according to Hindu Tantrism. Tantra is sex. Hindu is like a tantra is a magic involving sex, and sex is spiritual. It is symbolized by a lotus with 4 petals and the color pink or red. The first and vital force of energy, which is the Sakti energy or Shakti power, is the Muladhara chakra, base of the sign, or the base of your the sacred energy, the sacred snake. You have 2 snakes that go up and turn into wings, or the wing disc. Have you ever seen the movie Tron? They have a wing disc on have a disc on their back. They're talking about the Hadit point. Same thing. It has a file of everything that you've learned. You've learned in your what? Your mind. Like they said, they have the lock around the ear. The ear is the vehicle of Akasha's spirit. This is the only salient symbol. It is the only indication that he is not merely the bald baby. That means he's actually growing in his in your own advancement of your own life. Okay, the babe is an egg of blue, which is evidently the symbol of the mother. This child has in a way not been born. The blue is the blue of space, Nuit, or Newt. The egg is sitting upon a lotus, and this lotus grows on the Nile. Now, the lotus is another symbol of the mother, and the Nile is a symbol of the father. Fertilizing Egypt, the Yoni. Also, the Nile is the home of Sebek, the crocodile who threatens Hippocrates. Okay. Final of the Tetragrammaton. Hippocrates is, in fact, the passive side of the twin, Horus. Yet, at the same time, he is a very fully fledged symbol of his idea, which is wind, which is air. the impregnation of the mother goddess. He is immune from all attack because of his innocence. For in this innocence is perfect silence, which is the essence of virility. Virility is the quality of having strength, energy, and a strong sex drive, manliness. Now you're gonna have to see the symbol, the Buddha Rupa. You can always look that up too. Also, he is most frequently represented sitting on a lotus, and often there is behind him spread the hood of a serpent. The shape of this hood is again the yoni. So, in order for you to move on or to gain or higher access to your soul or power to your soul, you have to go through the woman in order to get what you need to get to its power. There is, however, an identity between the creator and the destroyer. In Indian mythology, an identity between in Indian mythology, Shiva fulfills both functions. In Greek mythology, the god Pan is addressed Pamphage, Parengentor, and all devourer, all begetter. So what you're doing is they say to create and to destroy. You're destroying that which is old and to create something that is new. Akasha. So Akasha, the queen of all who is damned, damned as in turning into the better version of self. Damned as in the power. We have certain powers. If you can get into the Typhonian mysteries, talking about Typhonic vampire mysteries too. Also, all right. To be the fool, a wise man can play the part of a fool, but the fool can't play the part of a wise man. Remember that. If you're on your job